name is Zhang Jianyu. I'm the Chief Development Officer of BRIGC, which stands for BRI International Green Development Coalition.
So we're very interested in understanding, can you share a little bit more about how BRIGC is currently engaging with Brazil?
Sure. Brazil is very important as a host of the upcoming COP30, but I think most importantly as a leader of the entire climate movement. And BRIGC's mission is really to help green the BRI initiatives. So to make sure green is the bottom line, green is the backdrop, and green is the new locomotive for development in the BRI countries. And I think President Xi last year traveled to Brazil, and in the agreement he signed with President Lula, that Brazil has agreed to align the Brazilian development initiative with the Chinese BRI initiative, I think, which is a big plus of what China is doing. So we have been interacting with Brazil at numerous occasions and also maintain good relationships. So, for example, I visited Brazil last September and met with Anatoni, now the CEO for the COP30, and Larissa is now a member of the green and low carbon expert network for the BRI. But most importantly, I think our GIFPI initiative, which stands for Green Investment Finance Partnership, which we launched during the third BRI summit in 2023, is we find it in great synergy with the BIP platform, the Brazilian implementation platform for the Brazilian climate action, in really good synergy. And we hope that this Chinese going out effort can really work hand in hand with Brazilian BIP, which is taking in effort, and really that we can find the sparks between the two initiatives that to really generate and stimulate good investment, hard project activity that support climate initiatives and projects in Brazil.
Thank you so much for sharing that information. I think all of the projects that you're mentioning are very important and sounds very exciting. So my question would be, building off of that, what do you think is the need that's driving to further strengthen the relationship between China and Brazil?
Well, I think China and Brazil really enjoying the peak of the relationship of the two countries, particularly following the most recent visit of President Lula to China. The two countries signed very detailed communique outlining the areas that the two sides work with each other. Particularly, there's a long paragraph emphasizing on the climate cooperation that China has with Brazil, and also it confirms China's willingness to support the TFFF effort that the Brazilian government has put forward as a major outcome of the upcoming COP30. I see there are existing challenges that from both sides to work on so that this cooperation can be further facilitated and also enhanced. One aspect is for the Chinese investors, when they go to Brazil, they need to understand more of the Brazilian need and how the Brazilians see their outgoing exporting activities, particularly for beef and soybean, impact with Brazilians' environment and climate actions, and how that can be used no longer as a barrier, but more as an incentive to stimulate domestic action. On the Brazilian side, I think they also need to come up with good scheme that attract Chinese investment to go into Brazil in a way that not only be in the field the circumstances familiar to the Chinese investors, but also things that can work in a policy framework, regulatory framework that can encourage those activities to happen and result in the things that the Brazilians want.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that information. We're very excited to see the future work and the upcoming plans by BRIGC and further cooperations between China and Brazil. Thank you.